Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Telecom Talk Show. My name is Tanay Singh Thakur, and joining us today is Mr. SP Kochhar, the Director General of COAI. Sir, it's a pleasure to have you back. And I would just like to start by asking you we are very close to 5G rollout, and it's expected in October. So, sir, what sort of challenges will Indians observe? Changes will Indians observe or see once the 5G is rolled out?
That's a good question. Yes, 5G, we are at the cusp of rollout of 5G, and your timing appears to be correct that October is a month. It will be a gradual rollout, obviously. It cannot be pan India at the same time. And wherever it gets rolled out, people will start seeing faster speeds, lower latencies, greater number of people getting aggregated onto 5G. And fortunately, it'll be intercompatible with 4G, so interworkable with 4G. So yes, they will see better speeds, those who subscribe to this, and they will see lower latencies.
Now, sir, the new draft Telecom Bill 2022 was announced by the DOT recently. And in it, it is mentioned that the government okays administrative allocation of the spectrum. What is your take on that?
It has come out only last night. At 11 o'clock, it was released. So we are studying it. All I can say, it is a timely intervention by the government to make the telegraph bill in conformity with the current timings and do away with legacy. So to that extent, yes. But what it contains and how will be the effect on telecom sector is something that we will have to do a deep study before we can make any comment. But overall, it's a welcome step.
So, sir, what's your personal take on the enterprises being allowed to take the spectrum administratively? Because the telcos want the spectrum way to go with, but what about the enterprises getting it administratively? What's your take on that?
So the COI's take is that our membership feels there should be no administrative allocation. It should be taken through auction routes because the spectrum is meant to give similar type of services. So anybody who gives similar services, irrespective of what geography they cover, they should have to pay the same amount of money that the telcos are paying, and be also subject to the same rules and regulations that the telcos are subject to. So one service, one framework. This is what we have been insisting. This continues to be our stance.
Now, sir, infrastructure is a challenge for 5G, and we know that infrastructure is not ready yet for a pan-India rollout. So obviously, the telcos will go with the 5G rollout in a gradual manner, phase-wise. Now, sir, what sort of infrastructure challenges do you see telcos will face when they go for a pan-India rollout?
Yeah, the main thing is that India's fiberization of towers is 35%, not more than that. This was a critical thing even in 4G, but with 5G, this will become more critical. And therefore, the towers have to be fiberized. That is the biggest challenge. Then, fortunately, 5G supports multiple flavors to be rolled out in different frequency bands, giving different bandwidth speeds, carrying capacities. And therefore, it will be flexible to the type of area and to the type of application which it will serve. But one common factor will remain, and that is fiberization. That fiberization is a must. Second thing, whether it is 5G or 4G, is the ROW challenge, which government is trying to address along with industry. That challenge, though diminishing now, but it still remains. And of course, the financial challenge, you are aware, that always remains because a huge amount of capex will have to be sunk into the rollout of 5G. And the last challenge that we feel is availability of equipment, because certain sources have dried up. And if we have to go in for a fast rollout, we require equipment. And we require it at reasonable prices. That is something which is taking a downtrend because the main source from where equipment was coming world over is no longer available. And therefore, other capacities will have to be ramped up. Make in India will have to be ramped up. It will take time. It will catch up, certainly, but it will take time.
So, sir, in the long scheme of things, do you think that was the right move to, remove the Chinese vendors from the market and just focus on the European market and boost the made in India production for telecom equipment?
So boost in American India is definitely a welcome step. No right-thinking Indian will ever say anything against that. As far as Chinese departure is concerned, now that is the government has to decide on security issues and various other issues which are beyond the purview of the telecom industry. And if they have taken a decision, we are an Indian telecom industry, and hence we will go along with whatever the government has taken a considered decision. Security comes first, commerce comes later.
Sir, talking more about the ROW rules that were announced this year, are you satisfied with them overall?
A lot of progress has been made, but now the question is that this is just one step. Now, state governments and the local administration, the local governments have to accept this. Okay. Fortunately, now the bill, the new telegraph bill, is in the offing, and this will also give it a legal framework for them to accept or be penalized. Till now, it was only advisory from the government. Step has been taken in the right direction by giving it a legal framework. Step has been taken in the new rules, which very clearly articulate as to how things will work, ease of doing business, as well as what are the charges that will be levied by any entity which is involved in this. This covered with the provisions which I casually glanced through in the draft bill which has come out last night, appears to be heading in the right direction. There will, of course, be a lot of more work to be done, a lot of bridges to be crossed, but the move is in the right direction, certainly.
Sir, in the infrastructure side of things and taking the cost into account as well, apart from these two, are there any other challenges will the telcos will face with rolling out 5G? Or these are the two main ones?
No, see, telcos would like return on investment. Okay, and the investment is huge. That is why we were insisting that the government should reduce the cost of spectrum, because in 5G, not only in India, world over, there don't seem to be any golden applications which will bring in a lot of revenue. Not as of now. Not even in the countries which have rolled out 5G 2 years, 4 years earlier. So it will take time. And till that time, it will only be cash outflow rather than inflow. And to that extent, this will be a very big challenge. And we will have to go very discreetly to areas where we find that there is scope of aggregating subscribers, aggregating enterprises, bringing them on board into the 5G cloud, and then slowly ramping up revenues. So this challenge will remain. Second challenge is about mindset. In 5G, the way we worked in 4G is no longer applicable. In 4G, we used to roll out networks and say these are the parameters which are available, and the businesses can build their plans around those parameters. In 5G, the flexibility is so much that the businesses can actually dictate, and enterprises can actually dictate to the telcos that, listen, this is what we want. These are our parameters. And you provide this network, and it will be possible to provide. And that is where we are saying that the so-called private networks can actually be provided by the telcos themselves by slicing and edge computing. So this is something which is yet to sink in. And till now, most of us, not all of us, but most of us are wearing the 4G glasses and planning for 5G. Right? So this will slowly change. This is akin to when we changed from 2G to 3G, when we changed from feature phone to smartphone. Similar thing happened that time. That time it was the catalyst was a phone. Now the catalyst are networks. So the how the networks can be manipulated for the benefit of the citizenry and for enterprise is something which will take time, and hence the applications will take time, and hence the revenues which accrue to the telcos will also take time.
So one thing that will play a major role with the success of 5G overall in India is street furniture, is the use of street furniture for deploying small cells. Sir, what's your take on that? We would like to know.
We must understand why street furniture is required. The 5G, the distance between two sites is approximately 100 meters at the frequencies at which we are going to operate, possibly 3.3, 3.6 gigahertz. And therefore, we don't require to go to 30-meter height, right? And these frequencies do not have, the propagation does not permit the waves to travel too far. Hence, the intersite distance has to be small. And if the intersite distance is small and the power output required is lesser, therefore, the antenna height is also going to be lesser. And hence, if we can use existing infrastructure, then we will not be spoiling the environment or spending too much of money in setting up huge towers for no sake. Hence, we are saying that we must use electric poles, we must use boundary walls, telephone poles, things of that nature. That will give us about 5 to 7 meters height, which is adequate for interpole distancing in 5G. And hence, the number of towers which will come up in the same geography, in the same area, will be much more for 5G than for 4G. The density of towers will be more. Therefore, the utilization of existing street furniture is very important. And they need to come under some rules and regulation, and which is the government and the industry are working together to see that it happens.
Sir, can you please talk a little about what lies beyond 5G? I'm talking about 6G, because there are some developments in that area as well.
Yes. You see, when we changed from 4G to 5G, it was a shift from one technology to another technology. And the second analogy is when we went from 3G to 4G, it was an upgradation. Right? Now, from 5G to 6G will be an upgradation. Right? It will be the same set of technology, and hence the use cases that come up for 5G will immensely help in 6G. But the adaptation of 6G will be much faster than in 5G, because it is the same technology, and hence the mindsets and technology would have bedded in by the time 6G shows up. India has realized this, and our government has realized this, and they've already started working on 6G, and we are in advanced stage of developing standards, use cases, various things. There are about 8 or 9 subcommittees which have been formed under a task force in DOT, which is looking at these aspects, and we are at par with the best in the world as far as this is concerned. Hence, we expect that 6G rollouts in India, India will be a leader for the world. And world over, the estimate is that we should see 6G happening in about 10 years' time, not earlier than that. Till that time, we will keep delving with 5G, developing cases, getting used to it. That sort of thing will continue happening.
So that will be all from my side, sir. Thank you so much for your time. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Tane, and best of luck to you also.
Thank you.